A lot of you are not going to like this, but personally, I don't think that Mohammed should be Shalewa's endgame. And we'll get to that shortly. Let's start from the beginning of the episode. I told you, I said that Shalewa was going to look at Mohammed like get up. Like, are you all right? Are you well? Are you moving mad? Like, what are you doing? I knew she wasn't going to fall for it, and she didn't. But a part of me also wanted her to have a conversation with him. So I was quite happy when she decided to go back inside and sit down and have a conversation with him. Because I was like, okay, you know what? Just hear him out. And then they started to talk, and Mohammed said something along the lines of, oh, it's not a marriage proposal. It's a promise ring, sir. Who gives a promise ring on one knee in a romantic atmosphere in a restaurant? Who? Wosi's glow up is long overdue. Listen, that dot needed to have disappeared 5 seasons ago. And also, please, I want Wosi's Crocs. They're so cute. I just kept looking at her feet like, oh, I want one. And I already have one pair of Crocs. But I was looking at hers. I was like, oh, I want it. Is it for sale? Oh gosh, the way I was so happy to see Didi and Editi, I was just like, yes. I just love them. But you see Didi's mom. Didi's mom is a vibe. Maybe because I'm Yoruba and I got it. Especially that part where she was like, Lori Ro. I was like, yeah, mommy. I can understand from both sides of the family. It's Didi's first wedding, so they want to do it big. Meanwhile, it's Editi's second, so they're not trying to overspend. But I think them just having like a middle ground, would work perfectly. I'm a bit concerned about Didi's character development, because especially from our conversation with Tiwa, it just kind of seems like she's up and then she's down. Do you get what I'm saying? Like now she's talking about, oh, how about they just get married and live apart, and I'm just like, well, where is that coming from? Because when she's with Editi, you can tell they clearly love each other. So her saying that, I was like, mm, mm, mm. I mean, the kids part, I think that's something we're going to find out later on because Tiwa kind of hinted at it and all of that. But maybe there's something that she experienced in the past. Maybe she lost a baby or something that we'll find out later on. But yeah, I want to see what's going on in Didi's head. I want to know. Tana. I don't even know what's Tana Adelano's character name. Was she introduced? She was supposed to be like marketing executive of something. I didn't hear it. The only thing I saw was Tana Adelano and her saying, I can't wait to get in bed with you. Mide's expression was my own expression as well. I was like, what? Stop, ma. I just want to mention that the kids are so grown, okay? It does. I'm talking about Editi's kids. They're so grown. They clearly weren't the same heights, the same ages they were when Editi proposed to Diddy, which was a couple of years, 3 years ago, So we see it, but we're going to act as if we don't see it. I have a question. Do men like Mide actually exist? That they're just like perfect, just all round perfect? Are there men like that? Because all through these seven seasons of Skinny Girl in Transit, I don't think Mide has faltered. Has he? If he has, I don't remember. And you know why I'm asking? Because of his reaction when he heard that his sister-in-law, was abused by her ex-boyfriend. The way he got angry, the way he wanted to pull up. I'm just like, every aspect of Mide Macaulay is just desirable, sexy, admirable. And I'm just like, it must have a fault. No matter how little, it must have a little something, right? Or is it just me? Oh yeah, by the way, when Shalewa was talking to Tiwa and she broke down and cried, that was an emotional scene because I was like, finally she's crying. Because it's only been 2 episodes, but we've just seen her talk about like the different trauma she went through, but she hasn't really aside the therapist, she hasn't really like cried and broken down, and that's also therapeutic as well, so it was a bit difficult to watch her breakdown, but I think it was good for her. It must have been good for her. Now, the biggest scene of this episode, and what led me to conclude that I personally would not like Mohammed to be Shalewa's endgame, was the last scene where Shalewa decided to go with Mohammed to visit his family. I have a few issues with this arrangement, right? Number one, when you claim to love someone and you claim to, care so deeply about someone the way Mohammed professed his undying love for the Shalewa and all of that, you don't throw her to the wolves. Okay, you don't do that. You go, you take care of your family. You handle your business with your family first. And when they have now calmed down and they're now receptive, at the very least, to meeting her, then you can now introduce her to them. So that by the time she comes, they are at the very least warm towards her. They might not like fawn over her and all of that, and that's fine, but they are not at least disrespectful to her like his sisters were, and the way his dad was and all of that. That's number one. Number two is I actually didn't think Shalewa was going to go. And I was surprised she went, because I was like, okay, now we're considering getting back. We're considering, like, on the line, considering getting back together with this guy. Is the next step supposed to be for you to go meet his family? I don't think so. I don't think so. Especially considering what you're dealing with. And I understand that, Mohammed is like a safe zone. She's familiar, the devil, and all of that. But at the same time, it just seems like it was too early, right? That's number two. Number three was, okay, fine. So she decided to go. And it's as if for Mohammed, for every one step it takes forward towards Shalewa, it takes 20 backwards. And that's why I said I don't think Mohammed should be endgame for Shalewa. And I'll be very happy. Let me just put it out there. I know they've been through a lot, but I'll be very happy if they don't end up together. Because it will only go to show you that, see, it's not about how far, but how well. Let me say that again. Especially for those that are still single and all of that. It's not about how far. It's about how well. Did you see Mohammed's face when he said to Shalewa about, the whole polygamy situation, and he looked at her and said, well, do you have a problem with that? Ma? Sir? What do you mean, do I have a problem with that? And this is exactly why I said she shouldn't even have gone to meet the whole family and Kakos in the first place, because these are conversations you would have had if you had just continued dating, right? And it's not a conversation you'll be having in presence of the father and the 3 wives and the 7 cousins and 20 children. Now, don't get me wrong. I know there are families, real life families with that scenario and that situation with large families like that and all of that. But this is where it is. When you are stepping out of the norm of that family, okay, and you're trying to bring someone new that's completely different from what that family is used to, then the onus, is that what they call it, is on you to do the work with your own family before you even bring that person in, right? It's just like you are outside and you're dating a Yoruba girl, you're dating an Igbo girl, and the family you come from is not liberal. Your family is like very strict. It has to be outside, it has to be Muslim, it has to da. And then you say, oh, I want to introduce you to the woman I want to marry, but you don't prepare their minds. You don't have a conversation with them before. And you don't say to them, oh, mommy, daddy, I just want you to know that, oh, she's Yoruba, or she's Igbo, or she's a white girl. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you have that conversation before you bring the person, so that when the person shows up, they are not shocked. And they're not looking at you and looking at the person and just being downright rude and disrespectful to the person. Now, that does not excuse the behavior of the family. They're just so full of themselves. And see, I know we're just in episode 2, so we still have a long way to go. But for me, if Mohammed were to end up with Shalewa, the entire family that disrespected her, they will have to come back and come and kneel down in front of Shalewa and her parents to ask for Shalewa's hand in marriage. Like, it has to be big. For me to say, oh, okay, fine. Like, all of them, the way they were looking at, talking about, oh, she's not fine, their insecurities showing, acting as if they walk on water and they're on top of the water and they're just pompous and all of that. They should use that same energy to come and beg beg for her hand in marriage. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. What do you think about the episode? Let's talk in the comment section. Remaining God and God bless you. Mwah. Bye.